the veil.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Veil. Yes, a podcast where we dive into, yes, three of us, crazy ghouls of knowledgeable facts, dive into the folk lore, the survival horror, the possessions, the beyond, the crazy serial killer facts, many more things that keep you awake at night, psychological and more. So tune in, listen to three of us going crazy and having a good time in the darkness. Ha! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Veil in the darkness with three amazing hosts that know everything from the darkness to the truth about the darkness, from the occult, from the horror, from the ghoulishly beyond. And we are going to be talking about everything you can imagine. So join us on a thrill ride. Sit back, relax, have a drink of your choice, a bloody drink if you dare, and listen to us as we give you facts and we give you truth and we go beyond any thought of imagination of what the truth is in the darkness. And I am Zach, the Chop Shop Zach, Mr. Eyeliner, and I'm going to introduce you to two amazing ghouls, hostesses who have so much talent and knowledge about the darkness. So, ladies, please take it away.
Hello, everybody. We have Megan here. All right.
This is part 2 of our missing persons, episode 4. Oh yeah, so part 2 of
Disappearance talk has to be respected by at least 2 parts of one episode that's going to be continuous. And this is going to be our conclusion of a great podcast episode.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So last time we discussed a variety of missing people. We touched base on a couple of things here and there, things that got us started, our first rabbit holes. What else did we talk about?
We talked about John Walsh. Talked about Roanoke. We talked about Roanoke.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah,
we
John
talked
Walsh,
about
Roanoke.
the cruise ship with
Yeah.
the 2 girls, 2 different incidents. And then we also talked about, I should actually say their name, I'm sorry, Amy Lynn Bradley and Rebecca Corey. Then we talked about Brian Schaefer, who went missing from the bar in Columbus. And we were bringing it into the 1990 era, I think.
Yes. I think I brought us a little bit into the 2000s, and one as early as like 2020, I believe. 2021 was the latest that I talked about. Brandon Swanson in 2008 that went missing driving home. We had Jason Laundrie in 2020 that went missing in Texas. And then it was a double duty. Lily Granger that went missing in 1981. That gave us a lead on the case because a man disappeared. I do not have his name, but he went missing in 2021 and gave us a lead on a 40-year-old missing persons case. Thankfully he came back, but that's wild.
But it's really cool. I want to tell people is the fact that you two have educated me because you two brought some facts I didn't know. And I want to say, this is what the show is about, is sharing things that all of us know that some of us don't know. And you two brought a lot of stuff to my mind that I learned and looked up later on. I'm like, wow, you guys really know this stuff. And that story alone really messed with my head. Yeah, he came back, thankfully, but not thankfully, but at least we got him, in that way. We found something out,
Well, I mean, in the United States alone, there's over 500,000 people who go missing. And I think the latest census or FBI information that they gave us was in 2023, and that was 563,000 just in the United States alone.
Since you brought that part up, I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to the 90s here. If you guys remember Soul Asylum, do you guys remember that band?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
This song Runaway Train that they did, the video was made in 1993, but the song came out in 1992 on the Grave Dancers Reunion album.
Yep.
But when they made the video for the song, they took missing people missing kids, missing people ads, and were throwing the pictures in there in between him singing. And they were, they reported 26 people were found. 26 people were found because
I
of that
didn't know
video,
that.
but they retracted and finally said it was 21. And they did not all end on good terms, and some of them were tragedies. Some of
Yeah.
those kids went missing because of their headlines.
I'm happy that they were able to use their fame and their power to give their relatives any kind of closure, though. Like that's important. I know that there is a lot of missing persons cases where people reappear 15 years later, 6 years later, like it happens, like with Elizabeth Smart. That was an incredibly tragic case, but it did have a happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't always end up that way. It is so rare, but the fact that they were able to use that, you know what I mean? It's very
They used a huge platform, and
yes.
MTV was all about actual music videos, and they were running them, and everybody was watching that. I remember watching that video
Oh yeah.
because they ended up, after they found some of them, they ended up changing the original video and throwing new pieces of it
That's fantastic.
at one point. Because I remember, like,
Probably
I thought I was living in, what is that called, where it didn't really happen, but it did.
oh yeah,
The
like Mandela effect.
Yeah, because I thought, I was like, okay, this
It's like a
video looks
glitch in the
weird.
matrix.
Yeah, it's I'm like,
I,
wait, is the video different? And then had to go look it up.
I've probably never seen the original video because that came out when I was like born, basically. But like I had to,
Gosh.
and I've seen the video.
It was around like 90.
Yeah,
Yeah, 93.
I was in diapers.
You and your little diapies? The little
Yeah,
diapies?
I
I
was
was an
like in middle
infant.
school. I was in middle school. I was in middle school. Oh God.
Well, like Solar Stone came along and they did that song because they're from like a Seattle kind of scene, and a lot of missing people have happened in that time in the 90s in certain parts of Seattle, like Aberdeen and stuff are small little towns. They're trucking towns. They're like oil towns. They're not safe towns where kids are
Mm-hmm.
very good to be,
Mm-hmm.
in that time.
Yeah.
So you
I
guys
kind of
want
wish
to,
him.
as we went from like the ones we talked about, is there anybody you want to end, like say the decades old, to go into the new with? Someone you find like someone so important that leads us to like probably the new generation now, because we have so many things, so many of these people we have to talk about.
Yeah. Go ahead. Then I'll go.
So one, and I think this kind of ties in a little bit, and I forgot to mention it the last time. So DB Cooper, where he did, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 1971, and he did the what do they call it? Skyjacking, where
Yes.
he hijacked the plane and he took it over, and um that was in Portland, right? Or ish area somewhere in around Seattle,
Yeah, it's
Oregon.
very easy to make that happen around there. Correct. Yes.
That
In the
that whole
foresty
area.
area.
I don't think they ever found like an exact location. And I mean that's still a mystery that has I mean I'm sure there's still Reddit threads, going on about that and people trying to solve this, much like a Amelia Earhart type thing.
Oh my
Mm.
God, Earhart. I swear to God, you go on any of these sites, everybody to this day are still kind of like coming up with conspiracy theories about her.
They did find her body.
They don't think that's her body.
Did they retract that? Because I think it was about a year ago or sometime in the past year. They said that they found remains that were thought to be belonging to her.
They
Yeah, that's
found
something I heard too.
And it was on an island, and that was like the last thing. And it was so quiet about it. And I remember hearing about this in school and everything. But that is really the one is that like this is a missing case, like case that was on radios and news, and we didn't have social medias and newspapers. People would revisit it every year, and publications still post about it.
I remember the first time I saw it, Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
The first time I saw about it, I remember being glued to the TV about that.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's still, like I said, it's still on Reddit forums, people trying to like figure it out and like, where's the treasure and you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, a lot of people believe in a lot of these infamous people who went missing. They went missing. There's some secret treasure buried somewhere in some forest or some small town somewhere that.
Yeah. People that do it, but and doing that, and the person I think of, my head goes to not people for missing, but people that go do this stuff, and is Josh Gates. If you guys know who that is. Like,
Yeah.
I think of Josh Gates because he is like right now the modern Robert Stack, kind of.
Okay, who
He's
was
done,
that?
that was the guy from Destination Truth. He's also done, that was on Sci-Fi. And then he was like one of the first people they were allowed to stay overnight in Chernobyl to ghost hunt.
He's the guy that kind of coined that whole, like, he got the permission from channels to like do all the real stuff before everybody started getting into that world and doing it and having to get permits and be paid for it.
For
And
whatever
he
reason, I'm not placing him. I'm gonna have to look at
disappears.
Yeah, you're gonna go look him up. He's a good guy. It's just that for missing people, for me, the one that sticks out in it still, what happened to Maura Murray? That one just, I don't know why it haunts me. Maybe because I'm around her age-ish.
Yeah,
Like, maybe that's the first one I actually paid the most attention to because it was just the most fascinating. Like, where did she go?
yeah. I think, like I said, like when it comes to the John Benet Ramsey case, because I was around her age and I was so little, watching that one eats me. That was
Okay.
like the first, thing that I really paid attention to in the news. So like that one gets to me, and they just came out with like the new documentary and all of that and new evidence coming forward, and I have just been hooked ever since trying to, figure it out.
Chardonnay is a tough pill to swallow for anybody who was a mother in that time. I can tell you, anybody who was a mom at that time watching on the news, they don't want to hear anything about it anymore. It's
Yeah.
just swallow. It's hard. That was so, I could not believe that when I heard about that. I was old enough to have enough like adult kind of. I was almost I was a teenager-ish growing up, and I saw that. I'm like, what the hell? What's this world? You know?
I mean,
Mhm.
not me. I was just going to school when that happened.
Okay, I know you're aging yourself. We're making us look old constantly up here, Megs. All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, I'm so
I was
aging
her
myself.
age. It was just it's
I get it.
and I mean, I think that's what makes it worse when it's somebody who is your age, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter when that is. I see people who unfortunate things happen to them, whether it be a murder case, missing persons case, whatever it is on the news today. And I just like, I've thought about it so many times, like, especially in my 20s, like, shit, they were young, you know? She could have been in my friend group,
Yeah. I mean,
especially for local.
I went to school at one or two. I don't want to talk about it, but I mean, I went to a high school where two girls were unfortunately, gone before their time, and it was horrible to find out. It was like I was way too young to want to know that. Like
Uh,
getting off the depression Trevi train, viewers here. We did mention a little bit on the end of the last episode, like BTK's journal. And this is going to lead us into the new world. The fact that it takes God knows how many decades for people to get their hands on real facts. Like in 2023, come on, BTK's journal links the serial killer to a 16-year-old who went missing decades ago, and CNN confirmed it later on. And this then led us into how many cold case missing people we have not even got any information on still, you know? And then we
yeah,
go into like, say, we start the new generation off. Let's say, start Y2K. Y2K happens, right? Yay, the world's going to end. No, it doesn't end. No computer shut down. But we get something even worse than the computer shutting down. What do we get, guys? We get the internet that leads to AOL chat rooms. Let's begin there.
I don't want to talk about that
I know
because
you don't. Let's skip over
Well,
AOL chat rooms because most people won't
we
even hear them.
we have already covered that on here, how AOL chat rooms are terrifying.
That was kind of
yeah,
a dig because I know you guys did. But anyway, we'll go into the
It's
main. main culprit when nerdy guys in high school who don't get laid a lot create a big $1 billion company called Facebook and then Instagram and everything else. And then you allow this shit to happen. And other layers of social media, you have restrictions on things you could say possibly, but no restrictions on protecting young people. And what has social media done for most young people since 2005 who don't have the intelligence or the upbringing to know who they're talking to on chat rooms and on things?
It's made them go missing.
Yeah.
It's been missing generation since social media took off that way. It's easier. The missing people used to have to disappear from a laundromat in front of a mall, like going into school. Nowadays, it's so easy for predators, as you see on all these shows, and they tell you this, teach your children this. Kid talks to somebody named Bobby. He's on the football team. He likes me. And they go meet up at the mall in front of the mall, though, in the parking lot. Bye. It's true. It's
I
disgusting.
know. I was one of the kids. I was a mall rat. I used to meet people up there.
I mean, missing people has never been scary in my opinion, because so many go missing that they can't keep track of. Statistics back this they don't get enough facts on how many kids go missing in America as of 2022. They don't get the real facts. Maybe it's almost 6 months later of how many real facts they actually know until maybe the end of the year,
Oh, yeah.
because they can't collect all the information and data.
And they still don't get it.
It's not until like everybody joins FBI, Social Security's crimes unit. This Taru has to join in. Taru can't even hack some of these people anymore.
Yeah.
So, like,
No,
what
yeah.
do you guys think of what social media brought? Let me ask you both. Like, what do you think it brought to us, case wise? Like, what do you think it did to the power of how people can go missing now?
It's enhanced it.
It absolutely has, but at the same time, it does have its perks. So, I mean, since about 1990, right? Is
Mhm.
I mean the internet didn't really kick off until 98 to the early 2000s. You know what I mean? But since 1990 we've had the internet, we've had chat rooms, we've had things available. It wasn't widely available, so children your age, my age weren't as affected by it, but there was plenty of adults on adult meetup sites and everything that have gone missing that were targets because of that.
Absolutely.
It's I don't know. Go ahead, because I'll get to how I'm gonna play devil's advocate here in a second.
Well, if you'd like, you play. Can I just say something real quick so you could be really
Yeah.
devil's advocate? Okay. As of 2024, the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children has released a nice an analysis that is still proven of children who go missing that are lured out of homes and were reported missing because of, the company is called, and it's NEMEC. That's what they're called if you want to look them up. And online entertainment is the road to entertaining them of how they go missing. And finally, ultimately, they meet up with the child, the people who meet up with the child to commit a sexual offense are then probably leading them to become a missing child. And sometimes a missing child becomes a person of non-existent person. And most of the time, some missing children do end up on just becoming sexual prey, but then they mess up in such a way, it's been reported, that they end up having to murder said child because something they did and they have too much proof on. And still to this day, one of the leading factors are pedophiles that make mistakes. And it's to this day, they know they still can use computers. They know how to use computers better than some hackers. It's reported. It's sad.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
And yet,
Yeah.
41% of the adults in the cases were more than 10 to 15 years older than the child.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts. It's fucked up. Now, devil's advocate, put the horns on and let's go to action.
Is it come here? Do you want to add anything before I go in?
No, I think we've covered everything. You know, yeah, I want to hear devil's advocate now and see if
I think she'll
So,
join in on devil's advocate.
we know how social media hurts. We know the fear. We've talked about AOL chat rooms, how they're awful. And that's not just AOL chat rooms. That's really how, it began. Like I said, adults were victims before that on, dating sites and chat rooms and everything online. What was the MSN Messenger? I forget I can't
How
remember
many
the
grown ups
actual,
even know that existed?
I
I
can't
didn't even
remember the
remember.
name of it, but yeah, so that was the first one that I started on before I had AOL as Instant Messenger, and that's what my father used. And he had
Yeah,
been using that for years before me.
million men use MSN Mail. I think that's what
Yeah.
the problem was with young girls using MSN
Hotmail.
because it's usually used by men.
Yeah, Hotmail. It's I don't know if that still exists anymore. That's
I still use my AOL.
you do.
They did.
So we know how the internet harms. We know about the dark web. We know how so many people have access. And you can just be a regular person and access the dark web. It's terrifying. It's
What's the
one thing
dark
that
web? What are you talking about? No, I'm kidding. Anyway,
I
go on.
Yeah.
refuse. I absolutely refuse to know.
Do not get yourselves arrested on this podcast, please.
I mean, it's easy to gain the knowledge to get there. It's not technically illegal, but there's places there that are very illegal.
I generally want to tell you something real quick. Anybody that actually wants to dabble and try their hand at going on the dark web, I just think I think you're really not a good person if you want to even see what's on that thing. If
No,
you heard what's on there, sorry.
I don't recommend it. I know a lot of hackers do it and go into these things to try and help and expose people. I know a lot of people try to do it just to say they can, and that's on you, but I'm not a fan. But that being said, we all know how it hurts everyone.
Right.
But
It helps
Reddit
people too.
Reddit itself in recent years has solved missing persons, murders cases.
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew it. I love you for it. Go, keep going.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not just Reddit, it's people's personal forums. It's people meeting up on the internet the same way that we met. We have common
Right.
interests and get in a chat room or meet on TikTok or whatever. TikTok has helped find people,
No,
reunite people.
Reddit has done more than any app ever.
Reddit has done more than absolutely everything.
Reddit
I know, like,
has
there was even
made-
like 4chan.
yes, but Reddit in the last years have solved the sleuths on Reddit. World of people all over the country go together in groups. They help the law find almost 20% of missing people from all over the
Yes.
world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so not only that, a great deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That even live in their houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
They talk and they compare notes.
Aren't there people on there trying to? Sorry, I'm going to talk over you, but aren't there there's people on there trying to solve the? I'm gonna hate myself for this. I can't remember the encrypted letters from
Zodiac.
Zodiac. Thank you.
Yeah. And just about any kind of true crime case that has happened, there are threads that are for a very small, unknown, maybe locally publicized, even ones that didn't make any news whatsoever, that people take time to solve those and not the ones that, were on CNN and, worldwide
Yeah.
and like the Maddie
Well, that's
McLean type things,
good.
And no, it's fantastic. There is absolutely a thread on Reddit for anyone you could ever think of, and you can post that there, and it's incredibly helpful. So, I mean, it's not just that, it's that living in this day and age of social media is you have friends that are in your inner circle that you talk with on social media. So
Right.
anyone would know who was closest to me if you go on my Facebook. There's photos of me with people, and then you can go click onto theirs and see mutual friends who might have been at the same party with me. And then you
Right.
can go into my chat and you can see me talk to you guys about it from states away.
As much
So
as like, yeah,
there's trails. So with social media, because of that, I think there's more evidence to where the person might be. Snapchat and Facebook, Instagram, whatever is geolocation, which, don't get me wrong, is in the hands of the wrong person, a stalker, somebody who is tech savvy, can find out where children are and that didn't know that they had geolocation on, and find them at their ice cream place after school and say, hey, your mom told me to pick you up, because all of that information is public.
There's
That is
always
the
a catch
harm.
to everything, though.
But
It's
it also helps these people to be located sometimes, especially when you talk about missing cases. Sometimes in human trafficking, small circles were able to find out where these people are, get a lead on who it might be because
yeah.
of these internet conversations. And so I think it can be really helpful. You can see the history of a person going downhill before they are going to intentionally make themselves missing, before they're going to become runaways, before it becomes anything like that. There's evidence to that now because of social media, because of our phones. They're like diaries of our entire lives.
Yeah, I want to say, like you say, like I'm not a father. I have nieces. Yeah, so your mom, she's, people have nieces and they have kids sometimes. I like to say, people who are adults who have children that they love and they want to protect. Yeah, social media is the bad guy, but at the same time, know the protocols so you can protect your kids from social media. Make sure you know how to geotag. Make sure you know how to find the phone, find my iPhone, find all. You have to have the
Life
tactics to it.
360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you have to study up on how to protect your kids if you allow them to be on social media.
Yes.
And
I
I
mean,
think it's a responsibility.
And have their passwords to everything so you can look in.
It's
yeah.
I'm
you don't
sorry.
know
I
about their
think,
passwords. I mean, come on, you can find it.
yeah.
I mean,
But I'm just
absolutely.
saying, until you're a certain age, I believe that kids do get some kind of privacy, and I do believe in that. But
In
when
case
you're
of
on this stuff,
emergency.
yeah, no, when you're on this stuff, your parents need access. I
Yes.
wholeheartedly believe that. And I'm not even like a parent myself. I've had like nieces and stuff, but I fully believe until they're a certain age, they don't get privy, their private stuff like that.
My
So,
children have never had a tablet. I make sure to not give them anything with like chat features. My kids will never play Robot Blocks because there's been so many issues with the chat feature.
Yeah.
My kids know how to type and write and do all of that, and I don't trust them to not just be like, "Hi, I live at 123 Street." Like, you know what I mean? Because they're kids, they're honest, they're making friends, that's what you do.
Hi, I'm
And
how should you come visit me?
yeah, and they don't understand that, and it's very hard for kids, especially young kids. I know a lot of people, and it's very popular for the 5, 6, 7 age range, and kids don't have impulse control until after the age of 7. And even at 7, we don't make good decisions, okay? And when you're not supervised throughout all of that, and those things happen. And I mean, like I said, going back to geolocation, it's that an IP address can tell you more information than most people think it can.
oh yeah.
I mean,
Let me,
that's the power.
I'm going to bring up the perfect movie for this. I'm sorry. I made everybody here watch it. I did. I made them watch it, but
That's
Megan is
that ruined
missing.
my day. Okay.
Megan is missing.
I'm
I
gonna
want to talk
stop
about that.
us. I'm gonna stop us right there for our little ad break. All right. And then when we come back, we'll talk about Megan's missing and how I had an anxiety attack for like 3 days. Is We are currently setting up sponsors and partnerships with some indie brands. So if you'd like to be featured here, please contact one of us at beyondtvcontact@outlook.com. If you'd like to support us, you can always shop my shop of metaphysical supplies, crystals, handmade jewelry, and some oddities. And you can also check out Zach's line of anti-bullying eyeliners in 12 different colors on Instagram at Zach Mr. Eyeliner. See what he has to offer.
Welcome back. And as I was saying, Megan is missing. That's what I wanted to talk about. That was the movie
Not
that
me, I'm right here.
That's her.
Megan is here. The movie Megan is missing. That movie I didn't watch until the first time, what, like 3 weeks ago? But I made you guys watch it, and yeah, what did you think? Did it hit home? Like, did it make you uncomfortable? Because it made me uncomfortable.
I was incredibly uncomfortable. I will let Zach start. You
Um,
go.
I'm a person that watches anything and any form of horror or true crime, and sorry, but that movie kind of kicked me in the ass on a really good day, finally at work and coming home, and you should watch it, Zach. And I watch it. I'm like, wow, this makes me feel so uncomfortable, and I never want my nieces to leave the house ever again or go on any computer ever again.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair. So, for those who haven't seen it yet, Megan is Missing is a what year did it come out?
Oh, jeez. I
It
don't
is
even
like
know.
I forget the year.
2000, no, 2000, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It was in later 2000s, so it's found footage type movie. I
It's
don't
free
want to.
on Tubi.
It is. I won't give away too many spoilers, but of course we're going to discuss this. So if you would like to, pause here halfway through, there might be some there might be some spoilers. So found footage style, obviously the title is Megan is Missing. She goes missing. Um, it's basically her friend's video diary, a little bit of like, store footage and their phone calls, like their web calls that are recorded that makes up the entirety of the movie.
Which I want to say,
2011.
it's very
Okay.
different than a found footage movie, but it is because the
Yes.
fact it's all proof from what's left over from their conversations and their real interactions. But
Yes.
then it turns into found footage, if you know what I mean.
It's it's police footage type found footage
Yeah.
movie.
This is probably why the whole reason I think like Catfish this even started too. If any Catfish has
It
watched it.
does. So, uh we'll start from the very beginning when Megan is introduced as a character and they're just two girls being silly and messing around, two best friends. And she's like, hi everybody, my name is Megan, and my birthday is August 12th, 1992. Immediate gut sink. All right. My birthday is August 6th, 1992. She is talking about how she's a Leo, she's bubbly, she's fun, she's making jokes that I would have made in 2011 because she's exactly my age.
Oh crap! I didn't even realize that, like
This
how
movie
That
close
sounded
it
like
was.
you should just join a church
her
now and be a nun.
her name being Megan, her birthday, everything just matching up so perfectly. And I mean, we've talked about it. We've talked about how I've been victimized too by going on chat rooms and talking to people online, and thank God, nothing happened to me. And that
Hmm.
got me. That got me.
I hope so.
It was a super rough watch. I honestly wish I would have watched it in 2011 when it came out. It might have, kicked me in
Oh,
the tush a little bit.
that's one of those movies
Yeah.
that would make you woke. You know?
Yeah, it would have absolutely done something.
No, it would have
But
because it's kind of like a PSA to me.
yes, yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we all have like a PSA movie, I think. I hope.
Huh,
If anybody is watching this and you have teenage daughters, I mean, if you have a teenager, even a preteen, I wouldn't go preteen. I watch it first and see if your child can
But
handle it.
as you were talking about that movie, you know the creepiest part of that movie that it's the thing that really did happen a lot in so many of these cases in real life where you go through the files. Oh, he can't show his face first. His camera doesn't work. Oh, his brother knocked down his computer. There's no way in hell with technology even then that you don't have some kind of feature of a camera on a phone, a camera somewhere. If
So,
that happens
yes.
nowadays, there's no way I'm even talking to you if you can't show your face.
If for a developing brain, those lies and stories and everything are
Hmm.
so common. I don't know how many times I've been on a video chat and I've been like, oh no, like my camera's broken. Like I have a laptop with no camera, like I can't video chat you. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, I don't know who you are. I don't want to show myself on camera. Like it's weird. So I'm making up these excuses, you know what I mean? And I mean, I could have been manipulated a million different times, you know? I think we all could for
But you
like
think
the right lies.
2025, there's no way possible that if you wanted to start a conversation with someone and you make any of these excuses up, they will believe it. If you just say as a girl or a guy to someone, they probably think you're not attracted to them, and that's it. Because there's no way possible that you would have an option to be on camera these days. Day and
People
age.
still do.
These days, no.
No.
People still do. Catfish still exists. It's still a
I
thing.
mean, yeah, there's people still do believe it. Yes, catfish
My
still does happen.
um my aunt fell for a catfish trap. She was on a dating app. I think it was like Plenty of Fish or something like that. And she did video chat, but because I was asking her all of these questions, did you see him? Does his picture match up? Whatever. Just trying to get her to realize that this wasn't real. And unfortunately, I couldn't get through to her. Um,
Yeah.
but she did video chat with him, but she said it was always dark and there
Oh.
were all these excuses. And this is during COVID, so he was coming up with COVID excuses why he couldn't travel. He was in London,
During
but
COVID,
he actually
everybody
lived
had
in
camera.
Illinois. It was one excuse after another, and I'm like, I wanted to sit down and binge watch Catfish with her, all of this, and you know what I mean? Like trauma
Hmm.
mindset of a person wanting to fall in love, somebody who doesn't feel loved, wanting to, fall for this. There's so many different reasons why a person would.
But let me ask you,
Oh,
have you ever been the person whose photos have been stolen and used to portray a catfish like myself? Because I think you
Not
know
that
this
I'm
story.
aware of.
Somebody has used my photos to a point where three girls at one point a few years back, like one of these, like, they found me on Instagram. They're like, hey, is this Bobby? I'm like, no, my name is Zach. You look like Bobby, and they show me a picture. It's my pictures from my Facebook.
Yeah.
And I had to like do a whole report. Like that's why I don't trust a lot of things anymore.
Well, so oh God, I forget his name. It's Alex something. Some listeners might know who I'm talking about here. My era, he was a scene kid. All right. Tight skinny jeans, raw. He was a very attractive scene kid model. He was very popular on MySpace, and he had, it wouldn't be Pinterest, it would be like Photo Bucket and all of those images,
Not
like
Dead
public
Journal.
profiles. No, Photo Bucket was a big one. So all of these pictures, like girls would steal it, and it was basically like our internet posters on the wall. And it was him, and there's a couple of other ones that their photos were stolen and used. And one of my friends actually got catfished. And I was like, you have the eyeliner, you have the skinny jeans,
God.
everything. He was the celebrity. So everybody was drawn to him. And that's why it made the
yeah.
perfect thing. And he had a bunch of different photos, and then Photoshop was taking over. So every kid had Photoshop. So then, like the MySpace like proof pictures, you could easily black that out and write whatever you wanted to write on there.
Oh,
Wow.
I
People had a
but you
lot
can
of
use
time
your
on their
cat.
hands.
People did. I didn't have it.
Yes. So it made
No, I
it
never.
so easy for like these mini internet celebrities to be catfish profiles. And it's like literally two guys, and there's a couple of girls too, that were like the most widely used from like
Oh yeah.
2008 to 2012.
Like
Yes. So to just end on Megan is missing.
It
Um,
is based off a true crime. It is
yes.
based off a real story, so
yeah,
everybody knows it is based. It's facts.
Yeah.
yes, which is
It's not
worse.
actual found footage or anything like that, but
No, but it is based off of real.
I will put a massive trigger warning on that
Oh,
film.
Yes.
If you
I will.
are not somebody who can handle kidnapping, I will say that it starts off very easy to digest, very easy to handle, and the last 20 minutes of the film is where the trigger warning comes in for stalking and kidnapping, a lot of heavy sexual trauma. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
take that for what it is.
Yes.
But in the realm of movies, to go on a slightly lighter note, um,
Sure.
some movies that I was thinking about, and I'm going like way back here. I haven't really seen any recent ones until you guys brought up Megan is Missing. It's me, so we're gonna go there. The Fourth Kind. We're just gonna go complete opposite things. Um, we talk about missing people, and then it's not really like social media based or anything, but we were talking earlier about like BTK and how that transformed like the FBI and everything. It's a
Yeah.
more
Mhm.
spiritual base, and me, it's aliens all of the time when these people go missing. So just had to drop that movie in there if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's a
I
mind fuck.
fortunately seen it in theater. Yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
so uh, would you like to go next, Miss Mariah, the queen of the goth and books of the world?
Books. There's so many good books that I don't want to diss anything, but there's so many like books on people missing and their stories and what their families have gone through. So make sure you check out. I know like Maura Murray's family has one, and almost
Yeah.
everybody has one. There really is. You can find it. There's
Well,
just so many you can go find.
yeah, literally, like, some of our Patreons, you guys have to realize you have to sign up because she's going to talk about books that you will be addicted to because of you.
No,
Yeah, I have.
yeah. There's a lot.
There's a huge
I'm going to
list.
name the all-time missing person movie that screwed me up as a kid because it came out when I was a kid. I know my first name is Steven. Yeah, and if you're a little boy watching this movie about a real life story about a 1989 crime where this kid was missing, he later shows up. He thinks the guy who kidnapped him is his father. He knows Ness knows him, but throughout the years he's been molested. He's been videotaped, used for photos that's being sold. To the one day when he turns a certain age, the father brings home another young kid who's 14 years old, and he helps the kid escape. He goes to the police office and says he had part in it because he helped to get the kid for his father, and finally meets his mom and dad at the end of the movie, and you're like, you bawling your fucking eyes out. Like, honestly, it's the most
Is
realistic.
it based on real?
It's based on a real story that people prefer not to talk about. Yes.
Because I think I remember hearing the real story, not the movie.
Yeah, it was. The movie is based on the real kind of scenario you know about, but I will not
Yeah.
talk about that. They do not want to talk about that since the 80s. They really want to stay out of that. The kid has gone through a lot of, as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
No,
if,
absolutely. But that's a good
Unfortunately,
movie.
that
That's
story is not uncommon. I'm not familiar with that particular one. However, I have heard a lot of,
oh, you weren't even thought of.
I mean, I've seen a lot of old
oh yeah.
movies though. But
No, not that. No one
um
wants to watch that.
yeah, no, I've heard of that happening before. I mean,
It's
it's that
bad.
same storyline has been on, SVU and other, shows.
Maybe that's what I remember, and I'm being 100% honest. I'm gonna have to go look now because it could have been Special Victims Unit. I'm not
That's
even.
Probably.
that's I
That could
think
be why.
what I'm
It's
thinking of.
But like the whole premise
Um
of that, what that movie really did detail that nobody really got the grasp of is this: a lot of kidnapped people, when they believe who kidnapped them is their parent going forward after a few number of years, would they become kidnappers themselves? And that's a syndrome that people and psychiatry offices and they teach classes on this.
yes.
The kidnap becomes the kidnapper eventually.
Stockholm is that bad and you do everything for your parental figure. And
Yeah,
I mean, at that point, depending on how young you are, you view that person as your parent. And I mean, they are. They raise you, they feed you.
they take pictures
And
of you naked, they touch you in certain places. Sure, right on.
I mean, it doesn't matter
Oh,
what that trauma is, they're still your caregiver. And that does a lot to your brain.
I would like
It
to say,
really does.
but I'm just saying we can be talk about anything we want to say. But one of the biggest mixes of people cases I really wanted to talk to you two about is, and this would
Hmm.
be you, Megs, that you might have your alien conspiracy right here. The case of the 21-year-old, and if you heard about Murray, who was
Mhm.
last seen in 2004, I mean, she vanished out of the blue, as everybody says. Minutes after crashing her car on a rural road in New Hampshire, I saw the pictures. It's just a car, open door, no person. Still, after 18 years, there's no leads or answers, and that term of the coin, people thought it was either aliens or it was like people who were against
that whole syndrome of missing white women, where like sometimes it's missing white women syndrome, where they say this person ran away and call and just use that, but no, no, no. A lot of people who knew her said there's no way she just disappeared. She has so much to her life going on. So that to me, I kind of get with your alien or some kind of weird supernatural theory right there. How the hell you just go vanishing like that? Your car doors
It's
open, your money's in the car, your phone's in the car, your bag's in the car. Everything's still there. You're not there.
it happens a lot,
It does.
Door open. If
but
you're like a kidnapper, you would close the door at least.
Nope, those were the men that I was talking about on the last episode. Their clothing was found. There was no blood, there was no dirt, no signs of a struggle, anything like that. It was just they were all with their vehicles. I believe one was crashed, but a great deal of them were not. They were just on the side of the road, and their clothing were found either near the vehicle or within a mile or two from the vehicle, just in a pile, like they just had no clothes.
I remember that, but like this is just insane that like some of these missing cases
I have a
because
theory about.
is like that.
I'm curious. I want to know the theory.
You want to know my theory about Mora?
Yeah.
I honestly don't think she is with us anymore, sadly. I think that that bus driver or one of the houses that saw her
Mhm.
had something to do with it.
Your
Yeah.
theory matches up though because if you interview a lot of these cases, you know this stuff. If you take a bus regularly, or if like you're in these scenarios with some people regularly, they know you but you don't notice them, they notice you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, when
exactly.
you have other things going on and if you're needing help, you start trusting people that you wouldn't think that you would trust. You know, somebody just says, "Oh, just come over here." That sort
I
of
mean,
thing.
because
Come over here.
honestly, I think it was like 2 summers ago, this made me think of this. People helping and trusting, they don't have it. My dad forgot his cell phone. I mean, because he just was going to go test drive the car because he was working on it. Broke down and nobody would stop. Finally, a lady and her daughter stopped. And they're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I forgot my cell phone. I need to call my wife so he can get a hold of my landlord to come, because they're good friends." So they were fixing something. And yeah, like it took him 20 minutes before anybody would stop.
Well, you have to understand, it's not because they didn't want to stop for him. It's because they don't know who he is, and he could be the serial
Yeah.
killer or something like that.
Oh no, I get
Also
it, but
true.
yeah, no, I completely understand.
I
I
want
don't
to stop.
know if
I'm like,
no, I might have called the cops and said I think somebody's broken down on the side of the street and I don't want to stop because I'm by myself.
So that is the thing with our world is that people don't necessarily think about that. That it is super easy to call non-emergency and be like, "Hey, there's a man on the side of the road. He is claiming to be broken down. I don't see a vehicle. He might have walked away from it, but it's disrupting traffic, whatever, just to see if like they can help him. But like me as a single woman, but people don't think about that anymore. That's
Right.
not the world that we live in. And people are more apt to be like, "Hey, I saw this crazy thing on Facebook," than they are to actually like help. All right, so completely off topic here,
yeah.
sort of, but I have kind of a crazy instance that happened to me.
Ooh,
Thinking about it is like 20 minutes away. So we're stopped at a really busy intersection in Milwaukee, late at night. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Uh, and it's very quick. You can get in the back seat, gone. In two
Right.
seconds, it's very, you're strapped in with. I lock my cars when I'm driving. I will say that as a female, it's something that we have to think about. I normally park near a cart corral because that is a very busy place where people need to be. So people are always like returning carts. So if anybody wanted to mess with my car, or God forbid, me with my children, putting them in the car seat and struggling with that, it's usually under a lamppost too. And those lampposts now generally have cameras.
yes.
Yeah.
So those are things that you have to be mindful as anybody, really, but especially as a single woman and a mother. Those are ways that we have to watch our back. I know there was a bunch of sex trafficking things where they'd put a glove on your car or put money under your windshield wiper, and you were not supposed to go and get it first. I've heard things where there are needles underneath the gas pump where that would be like some sort of drug or something like that, so that you would pump your gas and then it wouldn't hit your bloodstream until you drove away. And then people were like crashing their cars or falling asleep at the wheel, and then people would kidnap them and take their vehicles.
Yeah.
So you have to check literally everything, make sure you're in a public place, probably make sure that somebody, anybody, knows that you are going to the store, where you're going.
Oh, when you contact them, you let them know you're alive and stuff, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Burn.
yeah, that's stung a
By
little.
the way, this whole
But
conversation is for the Patreon. You're cutting.
go,
I think the
Yeah,
okay.
no, like, do you have any cases you want to talk about within the realm that, like, of our topic for missing people to end it up? One I want to talk about is like missing people crimes. You have unexpected ideas of missing people. I get very interested in when I find out facts on missing people when it connects to friends or say you're my bestie. So on the night of March 24th, 2015, this case really rattled me. Two best friends in the social media world. I'm just not going to pronounce it. I'm not going to say the last names out of respect. Cheyenne and Brittany. They posed and took a selfie together late by sharing the selfie over Facebook and other apps before going out. Within 18 hours, the discovery of 18-year-old, the one girl, Brittany, was dead. Body was on the side of a road, and nobody knew what was going on. So her best friend became a prime suspect. Why did she become a prime suspect? Because she took so many photos and posted them afterwards. The belt she was wearing in the photo, the best friend had a belt mark around her neck, how when she was strangled, and the belt mark left the actual imprint. She shared that Facebook photo. I miss my friend. I hope we find her. Blah blah blah. And all the marks was like the same scene. The actual strangulation was matched up. Police knew what was going on, and they were going to get her. And she went in before they even knew they had her. They knew she had her. And in her defense, though, she said the two got into an argument. Out of a fit of rage, she strangled her friend with the belt and regretted it so much later on. And this is an actual case where she tried to prove insanity. And how do you murder your best friend of your whole childhood because you got into one argument one night? And how do you post
So
the
did
photos?
her best friend report her missing, or did the
No,
parents?
no. When she found out the cops looking for her, she like posted pictures, and then she was wearing the belt again in a picture.
Oh
hmm,
wow.
Yeah, she was like, I hope they find her. But no, she left her on the side of a road, like right by the road. That's it. She did not try to say that was it. She like just left her there. They thought somebody,
yeah,
some serial killer or some like person killed her. She was missing. Her family didn't find her. Nobody knew who she was. The friend took her ID off her, I think, and everything.
Oh
wow.
wow.
Yeah, the friend went like that. And I
Yikes.
saw this
That's
on a
that
special.
sounds premeditated though.
It
Yeah,
does.
it kind of
You don't get
does.
into an argument and snap like that.
No, there is some heat going on. Like
Yeah.
that's when you got to learn to walk away from some friendships when you get that intense.
So missing
That
people really is very important to know. It comes in all packages: the supernatural, the aliens, the real, the true crimes, everything. I don't doubt what you're saying about fourth kind. I know I do have some beliefs in that, 100%. I have beliefs about supernatural things. If you prey on the supernatural and you accept it into your life, you may get too much what you bargained for. You know,
Right.
and you might
Fair.
disappear. You dive into a place you shouldn't be. Bye bye. You talk to a stranger out, know what they are, who they are, and talk to them on the phone or hear their voice or see what they look like. Goodbye. Missing people. It's not like they want to go missing. Some do, as you say, right?
yeah.
Some want to go missing,
Correct.
but not. Most of the genre of people who went missing over the years. It's just because there's people out there that are evil. We don't need to watch a movie to see evil. The world has so much evil in it, and it says that by missing people cases. It says that alone. Anything we talk about going further is not going to be as evil as missing people cases from the 70s, 80s to now of horrible people that take people. from families, and they
Absolutely.
are never found again. Never have a reason why.
Right. I agree.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Do you
we are
have
covering the worst topic you could ever cover.
Me.
Oh, you'll see.
I mean, that case right there is um the prime example of, what did you say, the like white girl syndrome?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is quite literally the prime case for that. And there was like 40 something different missing people, like cases that were brought up while they were like in that search. And I know they did find other bodies. It was like 9 other bodies or something like that in their search for her.
Yeah, and you know what that did was it helped knowledge, because when
Mm.
they actually found her and everything, and he was gone, and they were doing the special, the father was very upset about how people went out there and the activists for indigenous women, how many go missing, so much more that they don't talk about. And as you say, they needed that attention, they needed that spotlight. And the father literally goes on and says, I joined the movement. He has a website, he helps them. And
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
understood afterwards it wasn't a slap
Oh,
in the family's face.
you need.
Yes. Zach, if you would like to lead us off with some more information and close us off.
Yeah, guys. So, like, to end out the missing people and disappearances and all kinds of reasons why people go missing and disappearances, I hope we got enough information to you and kind of our ideas about it. I hope you can share your ideas to us on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else. Please follow us and everything. It's Beyond the Veil podcast. It's easy. Beyond the Veil. You'll find us. But some great websites to check out. Honestly, if you have any ideas about someone who's missing or have family or friends who need help, FBI.gov contact center has been one of the most productive places. NAM.US resource center for the missing is an amazing place that a lot of friends I know on Facebook go with. And most recently, Gabby Patel Foundation.org has helped a lot of indigenous people all over the country and in the United States and over the United States. So I hope you guys, if you have some money you can donate to these charities, even, I would do that too, because they're worth it.
Yeah, completely agree.
Absolutely.
I think the
Right.
lesson of our whole podcast episodes was this: you two as women, me as a man, we're all people. We all have to understand missing doesn't matter who you are, what sex you are, what age you are. We can all go missing. And
Oh yeah.
if you don't love each other and talk to each other, and the whole thing, proof of life is very serious to me. If I think something happened to you, I would say to you, I need to see proof of life.
Literally had to talk them down.
Yeah, I need to see proof of
Yeah.
life from my friends missing for a day. I need to see that, because missing people happens every day in our world, and sometimes you're not special enough or rich enough to be noticed by law enforcement, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So protect your young, protect your family, and care about missing people. And join the party when they're searching for people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Can I add a website to this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want to help with cold cases and missing people cases, you can feel free to reach out to Cold Case Coalition, coldcasecoalition.gov. You can
Hey, if
sign up there
you
and
help
they've
solve a
got
cold
people.
case, you could be a hero to anybody.
Absolutely.
You, the only thing I can say about it is you can volunteer to help with learn how to like properly perform searches. They do that on a virtual everything. And then also you can sign up to help with the case, but that's all I can say because you have to sign an NDA. So,
Guys, this has been another great episode. Thank you. Come
bye.
back next week and wait for our next theme. It'll be kind of different and wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Until next time, guys. Thanks again for listening. New episodes drop here every other Wednesday. You can watch the video version on YouTube Fridays. If you would like to be featured, please reach out to any of us at beyondtvcontact@gmail.com. See you next time.